Yo, what's going on, guys? In this video, I'll be teaching y'all how to play Goblin Demolisher Drill, which is my main deck, like how it. So the current variant I'm going to put on the screen that I play is this variant with like the Evos and Heroes. I would suggest this is the best variant to start when you're like picking up the deck, and you can stick with this variant like forever, but if you do get like really good with the deck, and depending on your matchups, I would switch to Evo Drill instead of Evo Tesla, and also Fire Spirit over Ice Spirit. But to be honest, with my matchups currently, I also think that this deck is the best variant possible. But the most important part about this deck, which first off is knowing your opponent's drill counters. So usually in single, I don't even like going in with the drill a lot because it's not like you need to cycle to your Evo, at least with this variant. You don't need to cycle to your Evo, so you want to wait until you figure out what your opponent is actually playing first, and then you can start going in with drills. And depending on the matchup, you want to go with your drills in different ways. Against more cycle decks like 2.9 Piggies or 2.6 Hogs, you want to do solo drills with just poisons and snowballs to get your damage because you're gonna be able to cycle a lot more stuff on the tower and you don't need a big push to break through. But against control decks like graveyard and stuff, you usually want to get counter pushing demolishers to pair with your drill. So like right here, I can go demolisher with the drill, right? And now the demolisher will run on tower, hopefully. Okay, it did not run on tower. But I'll show you probably later in the game because that's usually when it's better. But okay, this guy has an evil minion horde. Also, knowing how to use your demolisher in this deck is very important. So like right here, I don't want to waste my poison and I don't want to waste my Evo Snowball, so I'm just going to sacrifice the demolisher. I know I'm able to get away with my defense because I have Evo Snowball, which in my opinion is like probably the biggest part of this deck. You want to cycle to your Evo Snowball before you get to anything because Evo Snowball is not just good on offense, it's also very vital on defense. You always want to be having this, especially in like beatdown matchups like against Sparky and stuff, or even against matchups like Hog Rider and stuff. It's really helpful. We'll go Night Down here low on the Goblin Barrel because I don't want to waste my Evo Snow. Actually against bait, a lot of the times you don't actually want to play your Snowball onto the... If it's Evo, you really don't ever want to play your Snowball on top of the Goblin Barrel because you want to save it for either offense or defense onto some of the other pushes. We'll go Evo Tesla here to keep our Demolisher alive, right? And the Evo Tesla's going to stay alive, and now we can go in with a push. Notice how I have a counter pushing Demolisher, and I'm going to go in with a really good drill. Now I can Evo Snowball and then pop the Ignite ability. Ignite ability is also huge because you want to wait for it to walk into radius of the tower so that it can just pop and tank for all your goblins when they pop out of the Goblin Drill. Very huge. Also very important to know their spells. If they have Barbell and Log, you cannot do that play unless they don't have it in cycle. Very important stuff to know. But if they have something like arrows or snowball, that play is very fine. Because even if they do go arrows on it, it won't even matter because, what is it? It's 3 for 2 to counter that play. Also, if you're wondering why I went Goblin Drill right there, it's because I already had a Goblin Demolisher down in the back. Why is this important? It's important because that means anything that he counter pushes with, since he doesn't have a big spell like Fireball or Poison, it will just get killed by this Demolisher, as long as I keep the Demolisher alive. Right here, though, I'm going to let the Demolisher die because I needed to low-key kill this minion horde if it wants to like blow up on it. If not, it's fine because I do have the Tesla preset up, which Tesla placements, most of the times you want to just be playing it like right in the middle, like right here, unless it's against, Balloon, where you want to play it a little bit off to the side, but that's all right. And right here, we don't want to go in, we don't need to, we're just going to keep on poison cycling. And right here, since he did go in with the, oh my gosh, there's no way. But since he did go in with the Goblin Barrel right there, I do want to go, well, he had the Giant Skeleton taking for the Goblin Barrel, right? So I wanted to go in with the Knight ability instead of the... Whoa, what the heck? How did the... Okay, whatever. I wanted to go in with the Knight ability instead of the Snowball because if he played it on the center of the tower, the Snowball wouldn't actually be able to kill the Goblin Barrel. But now, I think he's going to quit the game, and I'll just see you on the next one. Those are just some, like, basic tips, though. I'll get into more detail into the next game. Next huge tip is drill placements. Drill placements are very important. Normally, against every single... When you're first playing the drill, right? If you don't know what they're playing, I wouldn't even drill right here. I would just go Ice Spirit the Bridge instead, just to cycle. And if not, I might go Demolish to the back. Okay, my cycle's low-key Bunions right now, but I'll just go Demolish into this Ghost. It's still fine. But drill placements are very important depending on your opponent's counters. You want to maybe switch up depending on it. But, like, if it's a cycle deck, first off, it's a cycle deck. Most of the times, you'll just want to play it in the front. Like... 99% of the time, she'll just want to play in the front. Since I know he wasted the Ghost, I can also play it in the front. That's fine. But let's say they have a Ghost or a Knight, and you see that every time you play it in the front, they're gonna predict it with your Knight. Then you want to go off to the side, which I'll show you that exact placement. But that's the only time you'd go off to the side is if you know that what they're gonna do. Okay, what the heck, bro? If you know what they're gonna do next. So like, if they keep on defending the drill at a certain pattern, then you want to switch it up a bit. So like right here, I know my opponent has Ghost, so I'm slightly predicting. I'm predicting him to go with the ghost in the middle, but so then I'll go off the side. Okay, someone like my post. I lucky forgot to turn on do not disturb. But right here, I'll defend first. Obviously, I didn't want to go in since he had the marcher still on the board, which most of the times you don't want to go into their support troops unless you have a poison as well with it. But right here, now I'll go Goblin Drill off to the side as well because if you see, if he goes ghost to the front right here, which he doesn't, which is fine, the demolisher would have splashed onto the tower as well. But I could have snowballed. If that was double, I would have snowballed that ghost so that my goblins could lock up tower. It's also pairs very well with the snowball. What is it? That drill placement off to the side. And there's also a placement. Hopefully I play against a bowler deck. But if you go on the inside tile over here against bowlers, that's the best placement. Unless they predict that you put it right there, you're almost guaranteed one shot every single time. Because normally they'll put the bowler right here and it'll full counter. But if you put it onto this side, the goblins will pop out at the very end and then you'll get one hit. That's a very important place to know. Anyways, we'll get another demolisher here. As you can see, I'm getting these demolisher on counter push, so then I'm going to go in with the Goblin Drill with it, but right here, I just got to snowball this marcher into the demolisher. Hopefully the demolisher can take it out, but even if not, I threw the marcher into the pathway of the demolisher, so that when it runs up, it'll just go onto the demolisher, onto the magic archer, and then splash and kill it. So yeah, good Goblin Drill damage as well. We'll cycle another demolisher in the back. Against bridge spin matchups, the best thing you can do is just cycle demolishers in the back, because you're able to get a lot of value to your demolishers, because unless they have a fireball, they can't kill it. And even with a fireball, you have a faster cycle than them first off. So I'm already back to another demolisher. He just played his fireball, and now he's 4 cards away. And I'm back to another demolisher already, and it's going to kill his push. And then I'll be able to get another demolisher on offense. Against control, bridge spam, and beatdown decks, most of the time what you want to do is you want to make counter pushes with the demolisher, like I mentioned earlier. And in cycle matchups, that's when you're fine to just go in with naked drills. But right now, I have a demolisher in the back, so I have a demolisher on the counter push. And now, since it's double elixir, I can also snowball this ghost, which, since it's not a dark prince or a bowler, I can go drill the front. Even if he predicts it, I can just snowball it away, which is huge to know. If it is a dark prince or a Valk, then you would definitely want to make sure you always switch up the placements. But since it's just a ghost, that's easy to knock away with the what's it called? The snowball. Also, a very important thing to note is defensive poisons against things like marchers, E-Wizzes, even just like, oh my gosh, I lucky sold with that night placement. My bad. It's on me. But even defensive poisons against like beatdown decks especially, you want to be spamming poisons the bridge on defense a lot more than you'd think, to be honest, because it's very good to just like even slow down the opponent's push and chip it away. Oh my gosh, how's that on my tower? There's no way, right? Yo, Demolisher, can you die already? Okay, I'm lucky fumbling this easy matchup. But anyways, you just want to keep on spamming poisons on defense on the bridge for support cards that you can't kill. It's so much easier just to deal with that, because the support troops still snipe out your Tesla and your Demolisher, but if you have the poisons just cycling down on the board, they can't put their support troops down, so then you just get infinite value. Horrible Demolisher by me, by the way. Hold on, I'm looking like kind of selling this game. That's all right. We'll go Snowball here since I'm confident with my defense. Since he doesn't have a Marcher on the board, my Tesla will fully counter this P.E.K.K.A. Even though I'm down damage, which will be like, why are you gonna go? Why are you not using your poisons on the tower? Why would you use them on defense? It's important to make sure that I can just clear out this stuff so that I can get a good defense. Because I'm confident in myself to get damage in this matchup. Because he can't stop. He doesn't have a small spell, like I mentioned earlier, to kill a, what is it called? To deal with the Demolisher. Or no, the Goblin Drill snowball combo. And he's gonna fireball again. That misses my tower though. I mean, misses Demolisher. So now I'm very confident to go in. I have a knight and a Demolisher counter pushing. I should be chilling right here. We'll just Evo snowball whatever he plays up here. And then go poison as well, because he's going to go Ewas on it. And just knowing what your opponent's going to do like that, and like counting their cycle is very important, so that you can know when you're allowed to play your spells. I'll go Goblin Drill here again, because I do need to get damage. But as you can see, I was confident enough in my I was confident enough in my defense to make sure that I would still be able to get damage, because I knew he doesn't have a log or barbell, so I'm able to get all that easy chip damage from Goblin Drill snowball pushes. I adjusted my playstyle and how I was getting damage. Since I couldn't get my demolishers to cross the bridge very often, I just went with Goblin Drills, and then I went with snowballs to knock away his ghost and his knights, and I got a lot of damage. So it's just like being aware of like what you have to use on defense and what you have to be using on offense. Anyways, next game. Okay, so we're against New York here. I'm going to try and just fully commentate this game, and in the next clip, instead of a game, I'm going to be showing you all the important Goblin Drill placements and Tesla placements, because as well as your Goblin Drill placements, Tesla placements are also very important. And to be honest, Goblin Drill timings, you kind of just got to like pick it up for yourself most of the time. You just got to be able to like be comfortable in knowing what you can defend. More than likely, if they don't have a fireball, you can defend like basically everything. Lava Hound's a very tough matchup, which I would say the only way you can win that is usually with Evo Drill. Okay, we're against a Valk here. I think this is bait as well, which is going to be interesting. So right here, since I think he has bait, I'm going to use my knight very low so that I can abuse the hero knight ability. Okay, never mind. He's just not playing bait. He's just playing whatever this is. But anyways, I don't fully know what his deck is, so I'm going to be cautious in placing my Tesla, because what if he just has a balloon, right? Then I don't have anything to, what is it, deal with the balloon if I cycle my Tesla. Now I'm fine with cycling my Tesla, though, is because, I guess, bro, I can cycle my Tesla here because even if he has balloon, I can pull it over with the Goblin Drill, which Goblin Drills on defenses, which they're good, but most of the times you don't want to use it. The only cards that I would suggest you use it on is Hog Riders. Okay, yeah, like I said, balloon. By the way, I'm going to try and keep this Tesla alive as well for a little bit longer so that I can shoot the balloon. That's why I'm actually snowballing on it. As you can see, that was like a really smart play. But anyways, the only cards that I suggest you use Goblin Drill on defense against is Balloons, Giants, Hog Riders, P.E.K.K.A.s, and that's about it. Sometimes you'll need to, like you won't have a choice, but those are like the main ones. Oh, and Ram Rider, I forgot about that one too. But anyways, yeah, that's my point. Anyways, besides that, oh, King Tower activation, it's not necessary with this deck because if you can abuse the Demolisher, it's huge. But against things like Graveyard, that is like the only way you could actually win the matchup. So right here, I'm going to get a good King Tower activation though. You go Ice Spit the middle like this, and then wait for it to jump. Skellies, boom. Boom. I meant boom. Perfect placement. It's sometimes hard to get off, but to be honest, once you get like really good and you just practice a lot, it's not too hard. But right here, since I have a Demolisher counter pushing, I can go Knight and, what is it? Knight and Goblin Drill at the tower. I was gonna consider popping my Knight ability if he went with a Valk, but he went with a good Wizard down low that my Knight wasn't gonna pull, so I'll just take the poison on it instead. And as you can see, the Demolish is putting in hella work because he like did not defend that well at all. I don't really know what he's doing exactly, but we'll cycle another Demolish at the back. As I said, you want to just keep on cycling these Demolishers in the back, especially against players that don't have big spells. It's literally impossible for them to deal with, and then you just want to get counter pushes off your Demolishers. Since most of the players you play, like realistically, I'm speaking for like the audience, most of the players y'all will be playing is most likely going to be like Bridge Bam, maybe some weirdo control players, but it's mainly going to be heavier decks, right? It's not really cycles. So most of the times you only want to go in with the Goblin Drill if you have a Demolisher counter pushing. You want to defend first, and then since now I have a Goblin Demolisher on the offense, I can push in, but I don't need to in this case. I can just go Poison Snowball, and that's basically the sequencing of this deck. To be honest, I can't really display, what is it? Higher level gameplay against these opponents because I did go into a grand challenge instead of a normal game because I wanted to just like be able to talk more instead of having to focus. But real quick, I'm going to cut to a segment of me showing you very important placements and tips that can help you win very difficult matchups. In 3, 2, now.